Things were uncertain on the set of Fox's Empire show, ratings were down, and the network hadn't announced if the musical drama would be picked up for a sixth season. A major character was going to die this year, but the network hadn't revealed who that would be. But one thing was certain. Jussie Smollett, who plays an R&B singer and songwriter on the show, felt he should be paid more. And that, according to Chicago police, led the actor to devise an elaborate but shaky scheme to fake racial and homophobic threats that would bring him more attention and hopefully more money. Following is how Smollett plotted his own attack and how Chicago police unraveled it, according to police reports and court documents. The first part of the plan was set in motion January 18, when a white envelope was sent to Smollett at production studios on Chicago's West Side. It reached the actor 4 days later. The letters were written, in red ink, in the return address section of the envelope. Inside was a threat in cut-out letters, "You will die black, expletive, dot." There was white powder in the envelope, but it was determined to be crushed pain reliever, according to police. The letter was handed over to the FBI, but there was little, if any, publicity about it. This upset Smollett, so he plotted a fake attack and decided to enlist the help of 2 brothers he knew from the show, Abimbola and Olabinjo Osundero. "Might need your help on the low. You around to meet up and talk face to face," he texted Abimbola Osundero, who also supplied Smollett with designer drugs. The attack the two arranged to meet on January 25, 3 days after Smollett received the letter in the mail. Smollett asked Abimbola Osundero's brother to help. Both brothers agreed, and Smollett laid out the script for them to follow. On the evening of January 28, the brothers were to approach Smollett near his apartment building in Streeterville, yell "Empire and Empire in," and then attack him. But not hurt him too badly and give him a chance to appear to fight back. The brothers were also instructed to place a rope around his neck, pour gasoline on him and yell, "This is mega country." The actor gave them $100 to buy supplies, including red caps that resembled Mava hats. On January 27, Smollett drove the brothers by the scene near stairs at New and North Water Streets. He pointed to a camera and said he wanted the staged attack to be captured by it. He also decided to switch to bleach instead of gasoline. And he told the brothers to leave their phones at home. On January 28, the brothers bought supplies and deposited a check from Smollett for $3,500. But Smollett's plane was late arriving from New York, and the attack was pushed back to around 2 a.m. the next day. On January 29, around 2:30 a.m., police were called to Smollett's apartment building in the 300 block of East North Water Street. The actor told officers he was attacked by 2 men while out getting food from a Subway sandwich shop around 2 a.m. While the initial police report mentioned nothing about the race of the alleged attackers, Smollett later told detectives he thought at least one of them was white-skinned. Both brothers are black. The Doubts police sources say they had suspicions about the story from the start. Smollett asked responding officers to turn off their body cameras before their interview began. A high-resolution camera in the lobby of the apartment building showed Smollett entering the building after the supposed attack. Sources said Smollett did not look upset and was still carrying a sandwich he had bought at a Subway sandwich shop. A witness in the area at the time heard nothing. And Smollett's late-night sandwich run and the attack both occurred during a brutal cold snap. Smollett made a point of telling police the attack happened in front of a police surveillance camera. But as it turned out, the camera did not point in his direction, so there was no footage of what he had just staged, as he had hoped. That made detectives work harder to find video of the assault, and at one point more than 20 detectives were assigned to the case, many of them checking nearly every camera in Streeterville. And that, police said, caused the scheme to unravel over the next few weeks. The way that they carried this out, there was never a thought in their mind that we would be able to track them down, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said during a Thursday news conference. Because these detectives, they put in intense work. Chicago Police Department on January 30, 2019, Chicago police released this image of two people captured by a surveillance camera near Jussie Smollett's building in Streeterville. On January 30, 2019, Chicago police released this image of two people captured by a surveillance camera near Jussie Smollett's building in Streeterville. Chicago Police Department. On January 30, a full-scale hate crime investigation was launched as detectives searched for video and witnesses, interviewing more than 100 people. They quickly found footage of two people captured by a surveillance camera on New Street near Illinois Street between 1:30 and 1:45 a.m. Smollett said he was attacked about 15 to 30 minutes later around the corner. The images, however, were dark, and the faces indistinguishable. A community alert was issued. Detectives found about 35 police surveillance cameras and about 20 private cameras to track the movements of the brothers. They had taken a ride-sharing service from their home to downtown on the night of the attack, then grabbed a cab to where the attack happened, he said. About half an hour after the reported attack, they got a cab at the Hyatt Regency across the Chicago River and were dropped off not far from their North Side home. Area Central Detective Commander Edward Wodnicki said people allowed detectives to view private cameras along the way. Hours after the supposed attack, the brothers went to O'Hare International Airport and took a plane to Nigeria. Detectives learned they bought round-trip tickets to return to Chicago on February 13. As investigators waited for them to return, police executed more than 50 search warrants and subpoenas. Working with Cook County prosecutors, detectives also combed through phone records and social media records. By February 13, a team that included the FBI, customs agents, and O'Hare cops were waiting for the brothers. They asked for an attorney. We took them into custody. We read them their rights, Wodnicki said. They were brought to the area's Central Detective Headquarters, where their attorney, Gloria Schmidt, showed up. It was around this time that the investigation started to spin in a completely new direction, Wodnicki said. Detectives found the check for $3,500 and obtained phone records showing the two brothers and Smollett talked to one another quite a bit before and after the attack, including when the brothers were out of the country. During an interview on Good Morning America, Smollett said he was positive that the two people on the video were his attackers. I don't have any doubt in my mind that that's them. Never did. Since the two brothers were the men in the video, Smollett had just identified them as his attackers, Wodnicki said, helping to put pressure on them. By February 15, the brothers had been in custody for about 47 hours. At the end of the day, the two men were released without charges. Detectives tried to schedule an appointment before the grand jury on Tuesday, but Smollett's lawyers said they had evidence and asked detectives to postpone any grand jury appearance. However, Smollett's lawyers essentially gave us no new information, Wodnicki said. On Wednesday, the two brothers testified before the grand jury to lock in their statement under oath. I'm told they did an excellent job, and then the state's attorney's office approved charges against Jussie for the Class 4 disorderly conduct charge, Wodnicki said. Police met with Smollett's attorneys and arranged for him to surrender at 5 a.m. Thursday morning. Jay Gorner at ChicagoTribune.com, W. Lee at ChicagoTribune.com, T. Swartz at ChicagoTribune.com.